It's my first time ever touching a Kingdom Hearts game. I've waited many years to get into this extensive saga, and I'm finally here. I played and finished Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, and I can finally take a stand and understand what the fuss is all about. Just so you know, I went through the main story fairly fast, within 20 hours, and neglected most if not all side content available. And here are my thoughts. Well, friends told me that most of the gameplay of Kingdom Hearts 1 was just about mashing X, and they were absolutely on point. You can even counter by attacking. And I'm a complete moron, so that's fine by me. I'm the kind of sick monster who almost enjoyed Drakengard 3's repetitive battles, so it's not like I'm gonna complain about a little button mashing. But Kingdom Hearts actually has some innovative ideas. I completely ignored the offensive magic, however, considering it deals so little damage, at least for me, and it's much more convenient to just spam the shield and healing spells all the while mashing X to proceed through battle. Countering actually gives you experience, and I think that's a great way to impose on the player to actually try some more advanced techniques in exchange of an experience reward. So yeah, the combat wasn't actually what I hated. What I hated was how super boring the bestiary was. Every world is always composed of a few small fries, some annoying flying small fries, and some big round dudes, but with a different skin. At least the endgame introduced some new enemies, but I was way too busy yelling whenever I ended up falling down the hollow Bastion while climbing up, since Sora automatically jumps every time you attack any foe but doesn't touch the ground. Most levels are also way too inconsistent in quality. Some are fine, like Graba, Halloween Town, but some are truly hateable, like the Deep Jungle, the Little Mermaid's World, Wonderland, and the level design of most places are really questionable and confusing, if not completely wrong in every way. Traverse Town districts are connected in the weirdest fashion, and I'm still kinda getting lost trying to figure my way out in there. Don't know if that's my sense of orientation, but the unnecessary filler content really just made me deactivate my brain at some point, like the useless fetch quests and gummy ships levels. That's quite depressing, as I'd rather just explore and see more of the worlds I visit, learn more about the characters, see some fun crossover interactions between Disney characters, instead of fighting my way through the same 100 Heartless without seeing a damn soul in any of the places I went to. I did not know at all what to expect of the story. On a general basis, I know that the later games get really messy to an almost laughable point, and I'm looking forward to that. Especially since Kingdom Hearts is extremely straightforward, sometimes so much that it almost becomes unnatural. By that I mean that the character dialogues and developments are way too short-sighted. Most of the time it's just some weird interactions and some very slow exchanges of lines, but my biggest complaint will be how Riku becomes emo just because he's seen his best friend Sora hanging out with a bunch of Disney dudes while looking for Kairi. Sure, let's say Maleficent's kinda manipulative, but he seemed to be really attached to Sora, and it's weird to just see this almost unbreakable bond break just like that. The same kind of thing happens later in the game, when Sora loses the Keyblade, and Donald just fucking walked away. I mean, it's fine, it's not like I was expecting any kind of super complex and mature character writing, but I do have to admit that the universe of the game makes up with the pretty weak writing of this game. The Disney characters all have their respective voice actors, and it's pretty nostalgic to dive into all those Disney movies one might have grown up with as a kid. I could admit some simple ideas like taking control of a Heartless, even for a few minutes, was actually kinda surprising, and I did not expect this kind of thing happening, and I wish this sort of change of pacing and habit was actually constant throughout the game, but meh. The endgame felt kinda cheap though, the way how everything feels like it's been left on a cliffhanger, like absolutely nothing explaining what this Ansem bench actually is, but I know I'll get my answers in another game. And I did! Or maybe I was too dumb to figure anything out. But whew, am I glad this game is over. I clearly did not have a good time on this game. Not an awful time, but still way too unbalanced and poorly designed to actually become enjoyable. Most worlds you go through felt like a headache sometimes. I can get the uphill, however, but it was clearly not a game to my likings. Be it for the gameplay, the atmosphere, and especially not the story. But I do like the chunny part of darkness and light, in a way. By the time this video released, I actually already played every game from the 1.5 plus 2. From the HD PS4 version, and without spoiling the next video to come, my experience with the franchise clearly healed over time. But unfortunately, I don't think I'll touch this game again anytime soon. That's it for today. If you enjoy my content, please feel free to donate on my Patreon page. Your help is always needed, and you gain some great stuff in exchange. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.